Welcome to Global English Tales. In today's story, Charlie's Path to Mastering English, you'll join Charlie on his inspiring journey to overcome the challenges of learning English. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and stay with us until the end of the video, where we'll review 10 essential vocabulary words from the story, along with their meanings and examples, to help you boost your English skills. Let's dive into the story. Charlie's Path to Mastering English. Step 1. The Struggle. Charlie had always been a shy and quiet boy, especially when it came to speaking English. In school, his classmates spoke confidently, their words flowing easily, while Charlie struggled to even say the simplest things. English seemed like a mystery, and the more he tried, the more he felt like an outsider in the classroom. Every time the teacher called on him, his heart raced, and his palms sweated. He knew the letters, but they seemed to form words that he couldn't understand. He had always been good at math, where there was a clear right or wrong answer, but English was different. It felt like there were too many rules, exceptions, and sounds that he just couldn't grasp. Charlie spent countless nights staring at his English homework, feeling frustrated and defeated. Why is this so hard? He thought, wondering why learning this language felt like climbing a mountain. At times, he even considered giving up, but he knew deep down that he didn't want to fail. He didn't want to live his life always feeling like he wasn't good enough, especially in English. But where could he even begin? Step 2. The Encouraging Conversation. The turning point came one day after class when Mrs. Green noticed Charlie's frustration. As she approached him, she gently asked, "Charlie, what's going on? You seem upset." Charlie opened up, explaining how he felt like he would never be able to speak English as well as the other students. Mrs. Green smiled kindly and said, "Charlie, learning a new language is a journey. It's like building a house. You don't start with the roof or the walls, you begin with a solid foundation." She continued, "Small steps, one at a time, will get you there." Charlie had never heard someone explain it that way. Mrs. Green told him that he was doing better than he thought. She reminded him that everyone starts from the beginning, and it was okay to be slow in the beginning. Her words made Charlie feel a little less alone in his struggle. "What if I start just by learning 5 new words?" he asked. Mrs. Green's eyes lit up. "That's a great idea. Starting small is the best way to begin. And remember, don't rush. Enjoy the process of learning." That evening, Charlie went home with a new sense of hope. He wasn't alone, and he didn't need to rush. He could take his time and move forward at his own pace. Step 3. The First Step. Charlie decided to take Mrs. Green's advice seriously. He didn't want to get overwhelmed, so he set a goal for himself. He would learn 5 new words. He began with words that he felt would be useful in his daily life. He wrote down apple, dog, house, book, and friend on flashcards. He even drew pictures of each item to help him remember the words. At first, the words seemed strange, especially when he tried to say them aloud. His mouth didn't quite form the right shapes for some of the sounds. He repeated each word slowly, saying it again and again until it felt a little easier. Over the next few days, Charlie kept practicing. Every morning, before he left for school, he would look at the flashcards and say the words to himself. He made sure to say them in front of the mirror, so he could see how his mouth moved. He also asked his mother to help him pronounce the words correctly. Slowly but surely, Charlie started to remember the words. By the end of the week, He could say them without looking at the flashcards. This small victory made Charlie feel proud. He was excited to learn more and couldn't wait to add new words to his list. Step 4. Learning sentence patterns. Once Charlie had mastered a few words, he realized that he needed to learn how to use them in sentences. Mrs. Green explained that understanding sentence patterns was key to speaking English. She started with basic structures, such as I have a dog and this is my book. She explained that English sentences often follow a simple order: subject, verb, and object. Charlie struggled at first, trying to form his own sentences. He found that the word order was different from his native language, and this confused him. But he didn't give up. Every day, Charlie practiced saying these sentences aloud, repeating them until he felt more comfortable. He wrote down simple sentences in his notebook, paying attention to the order of the words. Slowly, he began to understand how the pieces of the sentence fit together. One evening, Charlie challenged himself to create a new sentence using the words he knew. I have a book, he said. It felt like a small achievement, but it was a significant step forward. The next day, he practiced saying more complex sentences like I like apples and this is my friend. Each time, he grew a little more confident. Learning sentence patterns helped Charlie understand the logic behind the language, and with practice, he started using them more naturally in conversation. Step 5. Practicing with friends. Charlie realized that one of the best ways to improve his English was to practice speaking with his friends. He had always been a little shy, but he decided to try speaking English with Lily, his classmate and best friend. One afternoon, while they were walking home, Charlie nervously asked, "How are you today?" Lily smiled and answered, "I'm good, thank you. And you?" Charlie felt a wave of relief when he understood her response. He answered, "I'm fine, thank you." As the days went by, they started having more conversations in English, practicing simple questions like what's your favorite color? And do you like dogs? Sometimes, Charlie made mistakes. He would mix up the words or use the wrong tense, but Lily was always patient with him. She would gently correct him, and they would laugh together. Charlie realized that it was okay to make mistakes as long as he was learning from them. Speaking with friends made Charlie feel less nervous. He also started talking to other classmates, asking them about their favorite books and hobbies in English. The more he practiced, the easier it became. Charlie's friends were encouraging, and that helped him grow more confident with every conversation. Step 6. Listening to English. Charlie knew that understanding spoken English was just as important as speaking it. To improve his listening skills, he began listening to simple English songs and stories. His parents had a collection of audiobooks that he borrowed from time to time. At first, he found it difficult to understand the words, but he kept listening. Each time, he picked up a little more. He started with children's songs, like Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, and nursery rhymes. He would sing along with the songs, repeating the words until they felt natural. Then, he moved on to listening to short stories. His first audiobook was about a dog who went on an adventure. Charlie didn't understand everything, but he could follow the main ideas. The more he listened, the easier it became to understand what was being said. He started recognizing familiar words and phrases that he had learned in class. Listening to English outside of school became a regular part of Charlie's routine. Every evening, He would listen to a short story while having dinner or doing his homework. Slowly, his ability to understand English when others spoke began to improve. Charlie realized that listening to English wasn't just about hearing the words. It was about understanding how the words were used in context. Step 7. Reading easy stories. Charlie knew that reading was another important part of learning English. He wanted to improve his reading skills, so he began reading simple books. The first book he chose was about a dog named Max who liked to play in the park. The sentences were short, like Max runs fast and Max catches the ball. Charlie was excited because he could understand the meaning of each sentence. The pictures in the book helped him visualize the story, and this made reading more fun. At first, Charlie only read a few pages at a time, but soon he could read a whole chapter without feeling confused. As he finished each book, he felt proud. He started reading more challenging books, with longer sentences and more complex stories. Charlie noticed that he could read faster and with more understanding. His vocabulary was growing, and he was able to read new words without looking them up. Reading books in English helped Charlie improve his grammar and sentence structure as well. He began to notice patterns in how sentences were formed and used, which made it easier to understand the language. Step 8. Speaking practice. As Charlie's vocabulary grew, he realized that speaking English every day was crucial to becoming fluent. He set a goal for himself: to speak in English for at least 5 minutes every day. At first, it felt awkward. He would stand in front of a mirror, describing his day or talking about his favorite things. Sometimes, he had trouble remembering words, but he didn't let that stop him. He would pause, think for a moment, and then continue. Speaking every day helped Charlie gain confidence. Over time, he started speaking more smoothly and comfortably. He also practiced speaking English with his parents, telling them about his day, what he had learned, or what he was excited about. His parents would listen carefully and correct him gently when he made mistakes. This practice helped Charlie build his speaking skills. He realized that the more he spoke, the easier it became. Speaking in English regularly helped him sound more natural and confident. Soon, Charlie was able to speak for longer periods without pausing to think too much. Speaking in English became less of a challenge and more of a habit. Step 9. Using technology. One day, Charlie's friend Lily introduced him to a language learning app. The app was fun and interactive, with games, quizzes, and activities that helped him practice vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation. Charlie decided to give it a try. Every day, he spent a few minutes using the app to learn new words. The app had a feature that allowed him to hear how words were pronounced, which helped him improve his speaking. He would listen to the word, repeat it, and then record himself saying it. The app also gave him feedback, helping him recognize where he needed to improve. Charlie loved how the app made learning English feel like a game. There were levels to complete, and each level had different challenges. He felt a sense of achievement when he finished a level and moved on to the next. The app also helped him practice English grammar and sentence construction in a fun way. Charlie found that using technology made learning feel more enjoyable. It was a great supplement to the traditional ways of learning, and it helped him stay motivated. He continued using the app every day to practice new vocabulary and reinforce what he had already learned. Step 10. Feeling proud. Months passed, and Charlie's English skills improved dramatically. He could understand most of what was said in class, and he was no longer afraid to speak in English. One day, Mrs. Green asked Charlie to present a short speech to the class about his favorite hobby. Charlie was nervous, but he remembered all the steps he had taken to get to this point. He stood in front of the class, took a deep breath, and began speaking confidently about his love for soccer. He told the class how much he enjoyed playing with his friends and how soccer had taught him important lessons about teamwork and perseverance. As he spoke, Charlie noticed that he wasn't stumbling over his words or getting nervous. When he finished, his classmates clapped, and Mrs. Green smiled at him. "Charlie, you've come such a long way," she said. "You've built your English skills step by step, and I'm proud of you." Charlie felt a rush of pride and accomplishment. He had worked hard, learned from his mistakes, and now he was able to speak English with confidence. He knew that this was just the beginning of his journey, but he was excited for the future. Charlie realized that learning English wasn't about perfection, it was about progress. With each step, he was getting closer to his goal. And that's how Charlie made amazing progress in learning English, step by step. Now, let's take a moment to review some key vocabulary from today's story. Struggle, confident, encourage, frustrated, foundation, achievement, journey, patience, overwhelmed, and challenge. Remember, these words are just the beginning. Keep practicing, and you'll continue making great strides on your own journey to mastering English. Vocabulary practice. 1. Struggle. To experience difficulty or make a great effort to achieve something. Example: Charlie struggled to speak English fluently at first. 2. Confident. Feeling sure of oneself and one's abilities. Example: over time, Charlie became confident in speaking English. 3. Encourage. To give support, confidence, or hope to someone. Example: Mrs. Green encouraged Charlie to take small steps in learning. 4. Frustrated. Feeling upset or annoyed because of difficulty or failure. Example: Charlie felt frustrated when he couldn't understand the words. 5. Foundation. The base or starting point of something. Example: Learning simple words and sentences helped Charlie build a strong foundation in English. 6. Achievement. Something done successfully through effort or skill. Example: Presenting a speech to the class was a big achievement for Charlie. 7. Journey. A process of learning or personal growth over time. Example: Charlie's journey to mastering English was full of small victories. 8. Patience. The ability to wait or endure challenges without becoming annoyed. Example: Lily showed patience while helping Charlie practice speaking. 9. Overwhelmed. Feeling emotionally or mentally stressed by too many demands. Example: Charlie felt overwhelmed by the rules of English at first. 10. Challenge. A task or situation that tests someone's abilities. Example: Learning to form complete sentences was a challenge for Charlie. That's a wrap on today's story. Now, it's your turn. What would you like to see next on Global English Tales? I'm always excited to hear your ideas, so drop your suggestions in the comments below. Who knows? Your topic might just be the next one we bring to life. Let's make learning English even more fun together. If you enjoyed this story, please like and share the video with your friends. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more amazing stories and helpful lessons. Let's know in the comments what you think, and share your thoughts or any new words you've learned. Keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next video.